2 out of 5 individuals on this planet are lacking adequate sanitation, a toilet to go to, where you can be in privacy. I think that's really a disgrace to mankind in an era when we can fly to not even the moon, but not only the moon, but also to Mars and other planets.
Yeah, well, that's fair, but yeah, I get the point.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. 2.5 billion people don't have adequate sanitation facilities, including they don't have toilets.
Yeah.
So, and 0.9 billion don't have adequate supplies of clean drinking water.
Yeah, adequate water. I mean, good water of acceptable quality. And this is causing many deaths throughout the world, and of course especially in developing countries. The estimates is that about 5 million people every year dies of different kinds of waterborne diseases.
5 million?
5 million people, whereof about 1.4 million kids under the age of 5 who die from such a simple disease as diarrhea.
No, in the U.S., you have easy access through the pharmacies or whatever, your doctor's prescriptions,
exactly.
And it's done with.
Yeah. I mean, through simple measures such as good hygiene and proper sanitation, we would get rid of this because it's waterborne diseases. It's people, due to the lack of proper sanitation, being forced to defecate in the open.
I'm tempted to just say the obvious question: how could this be?
Yeah.
How could that possibly be so? How could governments allow that to happen?
Yeah, it is. I mean, coming back to the issue of the need to advocate these issues, it is a tremendous lack of political will, and it's quite amazing to see that. And we see that lack within governments in many developing countries. We see it amongst local mayors in municipalities and so on. We see it also actually by sanitation being not as prioritized as other areas from the donor side. And the big financial institutions who could also step in and sort of put pressure on governments in various countries or encourage investments in these areas. And we see also a lack of priority on the one very close to the problem. That's, for example, the husbands in the families. Because this is an issue that to a large extent affects the women and girls.
Not the men?
Well, the problems are there, but men find it often easier to do this thing in the open.
Right. And
when women go out in the field, they have maybe a larger need of privacy. They also run the risk of being assaulted in many countries, which is a huge problem. They might have to wait until darkness comes
and that's physiologically potentially damaging.
Exactly, it is. So they are suffering from these kind of diseases also. And all in all, this has enormous effects on the economic development of many of those countries, because people who are sick don't work, kids who are sick don't go to school, for example. So for the potential of economic and social development of many of those countries, this has vast effects.
So what you're really doing here, if I understand, is kind of, in a sense, well, I'm taking a step ahead, you're knitting together the need for, on a global basis, improved sanitation methods and availability of those methods, as well as cleaner water supplies and access to those cleaner water supplies for drinking and cooking and whatever. And those two combined really how they lead to what? Just a healthier world or better economies, or what's the goal?
Healthier world, and thereby better economies, better economic development in many countries, improved or protected ecosystems, because all of this pollution also has an effect on the quality of the ecosystems in rivers downstream, for example. So it has many dimensions, I would say.
And food supplies as well as water supplies, obviously.
Yeah.
So what's being done, and what do you recommend should be done, but what is being done to reverse this, to resolve these issues, to get to a better state of affairs?
Well, to a large extent, I think it's about the will of politicians, the will of people in decision-making power, including the will of the husbands in the families to actually invest maybe their own family's money into a proper latrine for the family. So it's about will. It's not about the technical solutions. All the technical solutions are there. We are not talking about rocket science here. It's simple latrines. And so it's about really will to invest.
So where are the efforts being made to resolve both of these issues, and what do you reckon? Is it coming from the government levels? Is it private industry? Is it enough? Is this year the year that it's all going to be solved? Or are we just at the first step of 100 steps that have to be accomplished?
There are these so-called Millennium Development Goals with certain targets to achieve certain goals at certain times, and one of these goals is to achieve a reduction by 50% of the people on this planet who do not have access to adequate sanitation, for example. And we see that we will, with the current trends, we are not going to reach that target. So in 2015, which is the target date, still maybe 2.4 billion people will be without adequate sanitation due to also the population growth of our Earth. And realistically, yeah, we could speed up the pace, but we will, I fear, nevertheless, not be able to reach the target.
Why won't it be reachable?
Well, it could be reachable if we all put our effort into it, but I really realistically don't see that happening right now, not with the pace. The pace might increase in the near future due to the increased attention that we are trying to give to the issue, but it's a long way to go.
This is Steve Steinberg speaking. I hope you're getting some value out of tonight's episode of Dazzle Unlimited. Say if you've got comments or suggestions for us, or if you'd like your company to advertise on Dazzle Unlimited, why not drop us an email? The address is dazzle@dazzleunlimited.com. Again, that's dazzle@dazzleunlimited.com. The Dazzle Unlimited television series airs every Wednesday evening in prime time, 8:30 p.m. on Channel 35 of Time Warner Cable of New York City in the southern half of Manhattan. Tune in again. But right now, please stay tuned, because there's more coming up on tonight's Dazzle Unlimited.